Hello and welcome back to my Let's Read of the Black Friday update for Kingdom Death. It's actually been a couple days since my last video. The reason for that is because when I had opportunities to sit down and record, I ended up doing other things. And honestly, I'm not in any real rush to read through all of this. I think all the time sensitive stuff for the sale and the backer kit I've already gone through and I've already made my purchasing choices. Um, so I can kind of take my time reading through this large update. And I'm not really one to really binge stuff. I don't really binge watch shows or typically don't binge through video games. I like to take my time, pace through it, kind of think about things and let it digest a little. So I might actually even spread out this what I assume to be a massive Kickstarter update over potentially several days and several videos. Um, and to that point of, like kind of letting things digest and think about it a little, back in my first video, I went over this image in the newsletter and I said, I wonder where this is from. And I think I said like Silver City, but I thought about it for a moment and I realized that it's their office. This is their headquarters. So if you ever get a package from headquarters, this is where it gets sent from. You can see these two large windows, the door, three windows above, two windows, door, three windows above. So this is like a little Easter egg. I don't think they were expecting anybody to actually get. This might be more of an Easter egg for themselves of the survivors coming into their headquarters because they're opening their doors for Black Friday. And I should note, wasn't doxing them there or anything. That's their address is out there. If you ever get anything sent from them, it's there. But yeah, I just happened to once look that up because I was kind of curious what headquarters was. But anyways, I thought that was kind of neat. Just a little Easter egg that I found in all that. So onto the update. Before I start reading it, I did want to speculate just a little bit about the timeline and why they chose Silver City of all things to do a massive update on because it's kind of become tradition at this point for them to do a big overview of an upcoming expansion at Black Friday in 2020. They did it for Gambler's Chest, and then in 2022 it wasn't exactly a grand overview of Inverted Mountain, but it was sort of the culmination of a year-long like Dark Herald series about Inverted Mountain, and it was a rather lengthy overview of the Inverted Mountain campaign itself. 2023 was the grand overview of Campaigns of Death. And so, when you kind of look at the timeline, which is I have up here, we have all this stuff coming out next. It's not coming out this quarter, but maybe the update is going to say and give an updated timeline on this. Um, and I expect they're going to give updates on all this stuff in the update, but not like a grand overview. They've already done Campaigns of Death in Wave 2. I don't know if they would necessarily do a grand overview of either of these expansions or both of them. You have some promo material. Then you get into the next wave is the Inverted Mountain. They've already gone over all this stuff to some degree. So that does mean you're kind of pushing out to Wave 4 at that point to give updates and overviews of, oh, sorry, I jumped a little bit up or down, to give overviews of upcoming stuff. So in Wave 4, you have Silver City and Abyssal Woods, and then Wave 5, you have Ivory Dragon and Super Survivors. So my theory is that they're doing Silver City in 2024 as the overview, and then Abyssal Woods is going to be the grand overview for Black Friday 2025 because I don't think it's going to come out next year. I think it's going to get pushed into 2026 given that everything's already delayed. And then likewise, I think that Ivory Dragon will be the grand overview for 2026. Once again, I think it's going to get delayed into 2027. And my running theory is that the next Kickstarter is going to launch Black Friday 2027. That's just my theory. I could be wrong. I probably will be wrong. But uh, yeah. Okay. So enough preamble. let's get into the actual update. So Black Friday, let me click on it. Black Friday 2024, Kingdom Death's 15th anniversary. A bit about 15 Years of Death. Kingdom Death launched in 2009, a dark and simple dream that has led to the creation of over 410 miniatures, our 21-pound core game, the even larger Gambler's Chess expansion, 14 monster expansions so far, and countless smaller gameplay expansions. 15th anniversary, Kingdom Death established 2009. And I should note that the Kingdom Death line, if you don't know, was established in 2009. For the first, however many years, it was just miniatures. And he did do this like one-off Kickstarter for a single miniature back in the day, but it wasn't till 2012 when he kickstarted the core game that it kind of became an actual tabletop game. And then, we didn't get it in our hands till 2015. So for the first 6 years, there was no board game for people to play. Lantern Year 15, yeah. And you got Snow, uh, Red Witch, or I forget who this is. Anyways, you get some characters with a cake. And now a little bit of ancient history before we get into the update. Just a few things many of you might not know about. Kingdom Death Adventures into the Abyss, boutique horror fantasy board game experience. And then it's like lorem ipsum there, so it's not actually um, like any text to read. I guess these were just examples of all this art kind of ended up, I think, in the game to some degree, but kind of fun to see how some of the earliest concepts of monsters and stuff, if this is, if this was made back in the day, um, did end up into the Kingdom Death Monster board game. Um, our original website was built into a social network that Anna and I built ourselves. It was a visual bookmarking website with customizable user profiles. As Kingdom Death grew, we quickly realized we didn't actually have any interest in running a social network. We wanted to be left alone to create. Yeah, so Adam and Anna, before they were uh, running Kingdom Death, they were programmers, and I think, yeah, they did either work for or create some sort of social network website, but, it never took off, and I don't even know the name of it. Um, some artwork. Um, Gorm. But yes, this must be some very early concept artwork. Here are some panels from the Kingdom Death visual novel iPhone game back from 2009. We ended up canceling the project to focus on miniatures. Yeah, so that was another thing. After the first Kickstarter they did for the single Forsaker miniature, they tried to kickstart like an iPhone game, and that Kickstarter never went anywhere, and they canceled it. So, uh, it's kind of funny that years later they're now kind of pursuing video games again, but it's kind of interesting to think if they had gone like the video game route with Kingdom Death Monster, if it would have been had the same impact or the same success. Uh, some more examples of miniatures. The grandmother was one of our benchmark projects. I personally glued the red ribbon into each little craft box so it would be easy to remove the content. The release of The Wet Nurse was a major turning point. I was flooded with supportive emails, strangers telling me that they wanted to see our game. I left my full-time job. Yeah, so Wet Nurse is sort of an iconic early Kingdom Death miniature. Really leans into the body horror aspect that Kingdom Death became known for. As far as I'm aware, there's no plans to bring this monster into the Kingdom Death Monster game. I'm not going to get into all the lore, but basically, like, the Wet Nurse does not live in the area of the Kingdom Death world that the game so far at least has taken place in. So, not to say that they couldn't add it at some point, but just right now there's no plans. I picked up my Lantern of Bravery and ventured into the darkness to make Kingdom Death Monster. All right, and here's the timeline. All right, so I was kind of going over the timeline, but let's go over it now. 2009, our first miniature, the White Speaker, is released. 2013, our record-breaking Kickstarter. 2015, Kingdom Death Monster was delivered. And that was when I got into the game. 2016, the 12 Wave 1 expansions were delivered, and the Lantern Festival was canceled, wrapping our first Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, I remember like trying to hunt down all the 12 expansions as like people got theirs. I ended up buying some of them off of resellers on Board Game Geek and eBay, but then eventually they all got sold on retail. And yeah, and I also remember when the Lantern Festival was unceremoniously canceled. That was pretty disappointing. 2017, our second record-breaking Kickstarter campaign. This one, and yes, I backed that one back then. I went on the all-in pledge for $777. I think I've gotten a pretty good return on that investment. 2018, Kingdom Death Monster 1.5 and the reprint of our expansions are delivered. 2019, the team is majorly reorganized, returning Adam and Anna as lead writers and game designers. We tried to grow too fast and we were unhappy. So what happened then, if I recall correctly, is Adam tried hiring like a producer or something to come in and kind of try to manage more of the day-to-day operations of the studio so that he could focus more on game design and creation. And I think they ended up going through two or more people. One of them, I recall him saying something along the lines of like they just didn't even know the game, like, and that they were not a good fit. And then I don't know what happened with the other one. This also was, I remember there was a snafu back then of, um, they started doing like more game content in white boxes. And I think the producer or somebody, I don't know if maybe I'm casting the blame on someone that doesn't deserve it, but someone made the decision to get the cards for the game materials sourced from a different printer, I think from a printer in the US, and the card quality was noticeably different and inferior to the cards that you got in, normal monster expansions in previous white boxes. So, adding them to your decks, they just felt they were off color, they were thinner, flimsier. It was a whole thing. But yeah, I remember he basically said at some point in 2019, like, I got rid of them, I fired them, whatever. Then in 2020, COVID fucked us up big time. Being in New York City was not good. I remember this being, particularly for Adam, a pretty hard time. He seemed, I know, he went through some stuff, but yeah, uh, it really disrupted them for a while. 2021, Pinups of Death were delivered. Over 50 lovingly created miniatures. 2022, Kingdom Death Simulators released for early access. 2023, Gambler's Chess expansion fulfillment, the largest expansion ever created for a tabletop game, restoring much of the canceled Lantern Festival, the physical manifestation of our gratitude. 2023, Adam cries at Gen Con when a fan waiting in line shouts to him, "You didn't think we were going to come? Of course we are." 2024 Black Knight Frog Dog expansions Ultimate Showdown board are delivered along with those t-shirts. Funny enough, I did not get my t-shirt because, like I said in the last video, I am part of the Dark Treasury, and it will not let me redeem my code for the t-shirt. And I haven't really gone through and tried to get that resolved. Honestly, I'm never gonna wear that t-shirt. It's those t-shirts are a little for me not something I would probably wear in public. A little too nerdy. It's hard to put what the last 15 years has felt like into words. The settlement known as Kingdom Death has grown into a really wonderful place. The appreciation I feel for you as fans, backers, and the gratitude I have for the talented people I am so fortunate to work with every day is so immense. I honestly and wholeheartedly feel that I must be one of the most lucky creators alive. I wake up every morning excited to check my email, thrilled to get art and sculpture updates, ecstatic to get gameplay to the table, and happy to see and talk to all the people that have joined me on this journey. We are a boutique, and we, for better or worse, have always gone about things in our own way. I can't wait to bury you in the new content we have labored over for so long. I love what we create. I love our legacy. I love Kingdom Death. Thank you. Here's to the next 15 years. Thank you for a wonderful 15 years. We've come so far. Here's to the next 15. All right. Black Friday sale is live. All right. Once again, we figured this out. This is their headquarters. We have a special 15th anniversary edition starting survivors with super badass versions of Alistair, Urza, Zachary, and Lucy, along with some other cool stuff. Please check it out. So yeah, this is all the stuff we've already looked over in the shop. Once again, very cool. The Pledge Manager is open. The Backer Kit pre-order store is open. Now is your chance to grab our in-production rewards at their pre-production price while we calculate our final production counts. Um, yeah, so I ended up. I mean, I guess the Backer Kit is still technically open for a couple more hours. I don't know exactly when it ends. I decided not to get the terrain. Maybe I'll pick it up at some point when it's on sale, perhaps. But as I said before, I bought the 3D board and have yet to use it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to use it. So I don't need the terrain. A stretch goal? How could you, Poots? A new stretch goal appears! Exclamation marks, question marks. Oh, it's the terrain. Ultimate core game terrain. Not really a stretch goal if you're charging $100 for it, but like I said, I know this was a long asked for request from fans. Available in BackerKit pre-order store now. If we meet our goal of 100K, we can fund the tooling of our dreams, hard plastic core game terrain, perfect for bringing your showdown experience to the ultimate level. Work in progress, not final prototypes. Yeah, so all the stuff was we saw on the backer kit. It's cool, but I think still maybe a little impractical, and it's only going to be for the core game. So if you're using any of the new content you're going to have this mishmash of cardboard and plastic. Now maybe one day they will kind of go through and do this, but like update it for everything. But for now, like yeah, I'm gonna hold on it. Since the release of the Ultimate Showdown board, one of the top requests from the community has been for an absolutely epic set of hard plastic terrain to match. Please help us make some awesome official Kingdom Death 3D terrain. You know we are going to make it nice. All right, so this seems like a good maybe stopping point. So far, we're still very early on in the update, but it already took me like 15 minutes or so to read through all of this. So I think in the next video, I will go over what looks to be the next major section, which is Remastered Wave 1 in production.